Hello and welcome to another Every Tuesday tutorial. In this week's tutorial, we're going to be creating this winter watercolor wreath together 100% in Procreate. So the colors that I'm using, I'm giving away for free. So just click the link in the video description. You can download this color swatch and install it straight into Procreate. So these are the colors right here, and this is the final outcome. So you can see there's this really nice watercolor look. We're using a watercolor paper texture in the background, and then that texture is just used throughout the entire piece. So I'm going to zoom out, and the brushes that we're going to be using, we're using two different brushes for this, and they're both part of my watercolor lettering brush set, but you can use any brushes that you'd like. You can follow along exactly with any type of brush. These are the ones that I'm using and that I prefer because that helps to give that realistic watercolor look. So the two brushes I'm using are the round paintbrush for lettering. We're actually using this for all of our branches. And then the round paintbrush for illustration is the one that we're going to be using for all the other decorative elements. So I'm going to create a brand new canvas that is 1500 pixels by 1500 pixels. I'm making mine 300 DPI. That way it's all set to go if I ever want to print it in the future, and then I will be right back. All right, I've got my square canvas all set to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is bring in my watercolor paper texture. That watercolor paper texture comes included with my watercolor Procreate brushes. I'll leave a link in the video description to that. I also give one of these away for free over on my website, so I'll leave a link to that as well if you just need any type of watercolor paper texture to use for yours. So in order to do that, you're just going to hit the wrench up here and then hit add and then insert a photo and go grab that texture. Okay, I've got my texture in here. I'm just going to enlarge it so it fills up my whole canvas, and now that's all set. The next thing we want to do is get our guidelines all together so we can move forward. So I'm going to hit the wrench again, come over to canvas and turn on your drawing guide, and then hit edit drawing guide. I'm going to change the color of this to a darker blue so you can see it better on screen. I'm going to increase my grid size all the way to the max so I can see where my center point is for my X and my Y axis. All right, and I'm going to reduce the opacity so they're not quite so strong. And then I'm going to come over here to symmetry. So tap on the little symmetry button, and then down here I'm going to choose quadrant and turn on rotational symmetry. And this will just make this entire process super fast and really, really easy. So once you have all that input, just hit done. And now we're going to create a brand new layer. We can label this one paper texture. Create a new layer right above it. I'm going to tap on this and just choose Drawing Assist, and that will keep those settings that we just applied, all the rotational symmetry, to the next layer. So you don't have to go back and input them every single time. So now I'm going to grab my first dark color right here, and this is the one that we're going to use for all the branches that we're going to kind of add on to with all of our decorative elements. So with that selected, I'm going to also grab my round paintbrush for lettering. The size for this is right around 5%. And then you're just going to choose whatever size circle that you want. So I'm just going to start just a little higher than halfway and begin drawing my circle. And you can see it's going to repeat around since I chose quadrant. And you want this to be a little shaky because this is going to be your branches. So in order for them to look a little more realistic, we're just going to make them a little wavier on purpose. And that looks good. Once you have your branches, you're going to come over to your layers. You're going to create a new layer right above it. I'm going to label this one background branches. And we're actually going to change the blend mode of our background branches to multiply. So tap on the N and choose multiply, and that will just help it to blend a little more with the watercolor paper texture that's behind it. And then up here for your next layer, you're going to change the blend mode to this one as well to multiply. We're actually going to apply a multiply blend mode to all of our layers. So just kind of do that whenever you're creating a new layer. This layer we're going to label Evergreen 1, and these are going to be our evergreen branches, and we're going to grab this next green color right here and just come in. I'm going to use my round paintbrush for illustration for this one. And we also want to make sure that the rotational symmetry is turned on for this. So just tap on the layer thumbnail and choose Drawing Assist, and that will automatically make it so whatever we draw repeats in all 4 quadrants. So that part's really important. So we're on our Evergreen 1 layer, and I'm just going to come in and draw some evergreen branches. I'm not going to make too many of them. And you just draw a line up and then some lines that come at the same angle on each side, just like that. Pretty basic, really, really easy to do. And then I'm going to put one off of this branch over here. Okay, and if we zoom out, you can see how that's already looking more wintry and festive. And now we're going to create a new layer right above it. We're going to label this one Evergreen 2. Change the blend mode to multiply, tap on the layer thumbnail and choose drawing assist. And now we're going to grab this middle green color right there, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Okay, so we've got all of our evergreen branches in here now, and the next thing we're going to do is incorporate some berry branches. So I'm going to create a new layer right on top and call this one berries. Change the blend mode to multiply, turn on the drawing assist, and we're going to grab our dark blue color right here, and we're going to draw in some branches. So you're just going to find one of your dark branches right here, and we're going to create a branch that kind of stems off of it. Really, really loose. No rhyme or reason to this, and vary up the size, the scale of it as well. Okay, we're going to create a new layer right above it, and this one we're going to label this one berry branches instead of just berries. And then this top layer right here, we're going to label this one berries. Change the blend mode to multiply, toggle on your drawing assist, and we're going to keep the blue that we have, that dark blue, and all you're going to do is tap with different pressure on the different branches, and that will automatically give you some berries. Okay, once you have all those in, you can put the next color on a new layer if you'd like, or you can just leave them on the same layer. For the sake of time, I'm going to leave them on the same layer, so I'm going to grab my light blue and do the exact same thing. And then the last decorative element, I'm just going to come in and add some extra branches that don't have leaves at all on them just to fill everything out. So I'm going to add this layer right above my background branches. So I'm just going to create a new layer and label this one additional branches. This one's going to be the darkest color over here. And we're going to change the blend mode to multiply. And then you just want to tap on the layer thumbnail, choose drawing assist one more time. And then wherever you see these gaps where it seems like it could use a little extra filler just to fill the entire wreath out, that's where you're going to put in these just bare branches. So nothing on them at all. Just fill in those gaps with additional branches. And then the last final detail, we'll add in some lettering to the center of our wreath. So I'm going to create a new layer at the very top, change the blend mode to multiply, label this one lettering, and I'm going to grab my dark blue right here. I'm keeping my round paintbrush for illustration, but I'm going to make it a little bit larger, up to 15%, and then just write whatever you'd like. Reposition it, and since I have my guides on still, I can reposition it so I know that it's still centered. I like going just a little bit above center for when I'm putting lettering in the middle of a page, and that looks good. And now I can turn off my guide, so hit your wrench, go to canvas, and just toggle off your drawing guide, and now you are all set. So that is how to create a winter watercolor wreath 100% in Procreate. Once again, I'll leave a link to the free color swatches right in the video description, so just click on that link and you can download them. I will also leave a link to my watercolor Procreate brushes that also includes the watercolor paper texture right in the video description as well, so everything is right in there for you. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of new tutorials just like this one in the future. For more design and lettering and Procreate tutorials and freebies, head on over to my site, every-tuesday.com. You can also find me over on Instagram. My handle is everytuesday. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week.